So for the repository management working group, essentially it's about CHERI Alliance and making sure that we can get CHERI development supported in the open. So CHERI Alliance has a organization on GitHub, and essentially the repository management working group is going, or has made some rules to make sure that we know what we want to create and what we don't want to create in the organization and the process for creating repositories. Now, these rules are not set in stone. They're essentially guidance, and I'm hoping that these rules will kind of grow organically. So one of the products from the repository management working group, you can find this online right now. If you go to github.com, the CHERIalliance.github repo itself, if you try to create an issue there, there's now an issue template where you can request public repositories to be created. And it asks simple things like, what title would you like? What kind of name would you like your repository to have? More importantly, we want at least initially for you to specify who's responsible for this repository. So is this a working group or is this an individual person? Now that doesn't have to stay the same, but we want to at least have an initial person who's kind of leading the group there. What's the purpose of that repository? And then another interesting thing is lifetime. So for example, we envision, at least at the moment, two different types of repositories. One where, okay, we need to add CHERI to a specific project. Sure, that's great. You say, okay, that's a short-term repo. Once we've implemented it and once it's acceptable upstream, then we can kind of close this down because the functionality has now gone into the upstream. But there's also long-term repositories where, okay, maybe this doesn't have a place upstream, or this is a completely new project, and it makes sure strategically, or makes sense strategically for the CHERI Alliance to support that. So those are the kind of things that we want to do. And then also, like, if you want it to be a fork of something, then you kind of put the repo in there, and we make sure that it's a fork in the CHERI Alliance organization as well. So this is available right now. If you want to create a repository, feel free to put that up there. If there's something that's unclear or you feel like this is not the right format, send me an email. And there's also actually. Here, so I already said that there's this CHERI, so the CHERIalliance.github, which is essentially like the root thing. Like when you click on the organization, you have a little thing that has some text being like, ooh, CHERI Alliance is great, these are all the repos. That's what the .github is, and that's also where you put your issues on. This QR code actually leads to the proposed repository creation rules. I think they make sense. For example, that at least in general, your main branch should be protected, that kind of stuff. If there's anything in there that's outlandish, or if you think that something needs to be added, let me know. There's also in those rules, there's a link that says what the repository management working group's email is, so please do email the working group if you have any issues. Yeah, that's at least the vision of what I think the repository should look like, and with feedback from the rest of the working group. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them because I have about a minute remaining.